Ready for a nostalgic trip to Hollywood's golden age? You would find that quite a number of its most iconic stars are still being celebrated today. Here are 20 golden age stars who are over 90 to 100 years old.
I know how to handle you.
How would you have done it?
With a little more patience and kindness. That's what makes people...
Number 20. Eva Marie Saint. Renowned for her elegance, grace, and talent, Eva Marie Saint is a celebrated actress from Hollywood's golden age. When she turned 100 on the 4th of July 2024, Eva Marie Saint joined an exclusive club of centenarian Oscar winners. She has not only had an envious career spanning over 7 decades, she is also one of the few remaining stars from that era who is still alive and thriving. Fresh out of Bowling Green State University, Saint began her career as a television and radio actress in the late 1940s. One of her earliest credits would be the role of Thelma in Horton Foote's The Trip to Bountiful in 1953. It was a Tony Award-winning play, and her performance earned her an Outer Critics Circle Award. Saint made her film debut in the 1954 film On the Waterfront. She starred alongside Marlon Brando, but she still shined in her own right. We mean, her performance in this film earned her an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. Not everyone can boast that. One thing was certain, she was bringing on real acting at a time when melodrama was still rampant in the industry. We still can't forget that memorable scene where she argues with Brando. In the line, "I didn't say I don't love you, I said I want you to get out," was a hit with the audience. She continued to make a name for herself with roles in other classic films, like Alfred Hitchcock's North by Northwest in 1959. In her nearly 80-year run in Hollywood, she has won an Academy Award and a Primetime Emmy Award. There were also several nominations she didn't take home. This includes a Golden Globe Award and 2 British Academy Film Awards. Up until recently, Eva Marie Saint was going strong with her work. From roles in films, television, and theater, she kept working until she was well into her 90s. Wouldn't you say that Saint's longevity in the industry is a testament to her talent and adaptability? Her timeless grace and beauty ensured that even as she aged, she stayed active in Hollywood. If anything, her legacy is firmly cemented as one of the most enduring stars of Hollywood's golden age. At 100 years old in 2024, Saint is the oldest living and earliest surviving Academy Award winner. Number 19. Hal Lyon. Best known for his title role in the 1970s TV comedy series Barney Miller, Hal Lyon has very well earned a spot as a golden age star on this list. Born March 20th, 1931, Hal took up classical clarinet in his late teens and went on to play regularly with symphony orchestras. He graduated from the High School of Music and Art in Manhattan, then went on to study music at Queens College. Seems like he had his path already made out, but he later moved to City College where he earned a degree in business. But he couldn't stay away from the arts. He supplemented his income by playing in dance bands. At some point, he was asked to join Sammy Kaye on tour. This time around, he changed his marquee name from his birth name, Harold Lipschitz, to the more inviting Hal Lyon. This seemingly small invitation into the world of professional show business sparked his interest in acting. This led him to New York's American Theater Wing, where he trained in voice and drama. By the time he was drafted into the Army in 1952, he was using his talents to entertain the troops. For most of his career, he never could achieve film stardom. Regardless of this, he starred in a handful of films. This includes A New Life in 1988, Just Friends in 1996, and Out to Sea in 1997. He had a good run on TV. There was How to Break Up a Happy Divorce in 1976, Father Figure in 1980, The Other Woman in 1983, and the 1983 two-person musical I Do, I Do. As a much bigger presence on TV, Hal dominated with a number of guest appearances later in his career. You certainly caught him in The Golden Girls, The Nanny, Touched by an Angel, Law & Order, Will and Grace, Two Broke Girls, and Grey's Anatomy. In March 2024, Lyon turned 93 years old and showed no signs of slowing down. Number 18. Gina Roland. Before we lost her a couple of weeks ago, Virginia Catherine Gina Roland was an American film, stage, and television actress. She wasn't as prominent as she once was, but her career in the entertainment industry spanned well over 6 decades. Before this, she was just a little girl with big dreams. Roland was born on June 19, 1930. Her father, Edwin Maren Koch, was a banker and state legislator, while her mother was a housewife who later worked as an actress under the stage name Lady Roland. At some point in 1939, her family moved to Washington, D.C. This move came when her father was appointed to a position in the United States Department of Agriculture. By 1942, they moved again, this time to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where he was appointed branch manager of the Office of Price Administration. From 1947 to 1950, she attended the University of Wisconsin. Even then, her beauty and charisma made her stand out. She was a popular student and a member of Kappa Kappa Gamma. She left for New York City to study drama at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. From theater companies to a 1952 Broadway debut in The 7-Year Itch, Roland had a smooth sail to Hollywood. Roland was married to John Cassavetes from March 9, 1954 until his death on February 3, 1989. The two met at the American Academy at Carnegie Hall. The happily married couple had 3 children, Nick, Alexandra, and Zoe. All 3 of them chose to become actor-directors. The 4-time Emmy and 2-time Golden Globe winner is best known for her collaborations with her late actor-director husband, John Cassavetes, in 10 films. Most notable on this would be A Woman Under the Influence in 1974 and Gloria in 1980. The Opening Night in 1977 was another good film that earned her the Silver Bear Award for Best Actress. By November 2015, Roland received an honorary Academy Award in recognition of her unique screen performances. In June 2024, Nick Cassavetes announced that his mother had been living with Alzheimer's disease for about 5 years. Months later, in August, she died from complications of Alzheimer's disease at her home in Indian Wells, California. She was 94 years old.
Pleased with yourself? Well, I worried telling us to keep her mouth shut about Baldwin paying us so much. I didn't know she were a mardy pants as well.
I'm all right.
You see, she's all right. I was just saying she should have kept her mouth shut.
Number 17. Eileen Derbyshire. Recognize this face? Of course you do. She perfectly delivered her role as Emily Bishop on the long-running television soap opera Coronation Street. Born on October 6, 1930, Eileen Derbyshire has over time solidified her position as one of the most iconic figures in British television. Notably, she has enjoyed a career that spans well over 6 decades. Her status as a Golden Age star is slightly different from that of other Hollywood Golden Age icons, though. As you will see, her legacy is more to her long-lasting impact on British television during a period when soap operas were becoming a cultural staple. Derbyshire joined Coronation Street in 1961, just 1 year after the show first aired. She was certainly doing something right because she stayed on the series for over 55 years. There is no denying the elegance she brought to the portrayal of Emily Bishop. The kind-hearted, moral, and slightly reserved character is one she has delivered perfectly over the years and has made her a beloved figure among viewers. Despite the rapid changes in television over the decades, Derbyshire's character remained a constant. It is only natural that she earned her recognition as one of the longest-serving soap opera actors in the world. For one, we can't help but admire her dedication to craft. She had this ability to bring depth to a character that could have easily been a background figure. Thankfully, her work on the soap opera earned her critical acclaim. In fact, she is often cited as one of the pillars of the show's success. Moving on to her personal life, Derbyshire was and still is quite the reserved personality. Because of her private nature, she shunned the limelight outside of her acting career. Notwithstanding, her contributions to British television have made her a revered figure. Even after stepping back from acting in 2016, she remains a symbol of the golden age of British television. Now 92 years old, Eileen Derbyshire continues to stand as a testament to the power of enduring talent.
But woman gets that lonely feeling. She wants somebody to admire her and tell her how pretty she looks and things like that. Why don't you come over here where we can talk?
Now you're coming in.
Number 16. Janice Pige. Another Golden Age star who has had a remarkable career in film, television, and theater would be Janice Pige. Born September 16, 1922, this classic Hollywood actress and singer is one of the last surviving stars from the Golden Age of Hollywood. With a career spanning over 7 decades, it is not hard to imagine how far her versatility and enduring talent have brought her. Page began her career as a contract player for Warner Brothers in the 1940s. She started off appearing in a variety of films, including musicals, comedies, and dramas. Most noteworthy of her early works include films like Hollywood Canteen in 1944 and Of Human Bondage in 1946. As evident in those roles, she had a lively screen presence, the kind that could easily portray spirited and charismatic characters. Moving into the 1950s, Pige transitioned to Broadway, and to be honest, this is where she found the most success. Her most notable stage role was in the original Broadway production of The Pajama Game in 1954. She took on the lead role of Babe Williams and no doubt carried the play. Not only was it a major hit, Pige's performance was also widely praised. As you can imagine, it further solidified her position as a multi-talented performer. Throughout the 1960s and 1970s, Pige remained active in both film and television. You might have caught her in guest-starring roles on popular TV shows like The Fugitive, All in the Family, and Trapper John MD. If anything, we believe this showcased her ability to adapt to the changing entertainment landscape. Pige's longevity in the industry and her ability to seamlessly move between different mediums of film, theater, and television set her apart as a true entertainer. It would be fitting to say that her career reflects the evolution of Hollywood and the entertainment industry over the 20th century. Sadly, Janice Pige passed away in June 2024. She was 101 years old. Number 15. Barbara Eden. Born in August 1931, Barbara Eden is another iconic Golden Age star who has earned a spot on this list. The American actress and singer are best known for her role as Jeannie in the classic television sitcom I Dream of Jeannie. Now 93 years old, Eden's career has spanned well over 7 decades. Eden began her career in the 1950s. She appeared in a variety of television shows and films, and by doing so, she quickly gained recognition for her beauty, charm, and talent. In time, she was offered standout roles in movies like Flaming Star in 1960, alongside Elvis Presley, and of course, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea in 1961. These were big films, but it was her role in I Dream of Jeannie that truly catapulted her to international stardom. Her outstanding role in I Dream of Jeannie from 1965 to 1970 certainly made her a beloved figure in television history. In fact, some would argue that she is one of the most prominent symbols of the golden age of television. In the sitcom, Eden played a 2,000-year-old genie who falls in love with her astronaut master. The show was a huge success, and it became one of the most beloved sitcoms of the 1960s. Eden's portrayal of Jeannie was perfect. She brought a playful innocence to the role and also delivered perfectly on her signature genie costume. The genie look not only became iconic, but also solidified her place in television history. Thankfully, Eden's success on television did not confine her to a box. She continued to work in television, film, and on stage throughout the following decades. She appeared in various TV movies, guest starred on popular shows, and performed in several theater productions. Her versatility as an actress is commendable, as it allowed her to navigate the ever-evolving entertainment industry, maintain her relevance and appeal across generations. Now in her 90s, there is no doubt that she is one of the most cherished stars of her generation. Number 14. Ray Anthony. Born Raymond Antonini in January 1922, Ray Anthony is a celebrated American bandleader, trumpeter, and actor. While his impact would be lost on the younger generation, you would be interested to learn of his contributions to the big band era and the popular music scene of the mid-20th century. Now over 100 years old, Anthony's career has made him one of the last living links to the golden age of American music. Want to know how old he is? First, let's appreciate how much he has done. Anthony first gained prominence as a trumpet player in the 1940s by playing with the Glenn Miller Orchestra. For those who do not know, this was one of the most famous big bands of the era. He served briefly in the U.S. Navy during World War II, and after that went on to form his own orchestra in 1946. Thanks to his experience and talent, his orchestra quickly rose to being one of the leading big bands of the post-war era. For one, the Ray Anthony Orchestra was known for its smooth, danceable swing music. You could also say he was strategic as well. He made sure to position himself in big movies and on television. This definitely contributed to the popularity of his big band music. As you can imagine, this was like a stepping stone to Hollywood. Ray Anthony appeared in several films like Daddy Longlegs in 1955 and The Five Pennies in 1959. And of course, this does not include the countless television appearances, both as a musician and actor. In time, he had the Hollywood connections and fame that led to friendships with iconic stars like Marilyn Monroe, whom he famously dated. As musical tastes shifted in the 1960s and beyond, Anthony adapted by exploring different genres. This ability to evolve with the changing music landscape kept him relevant long after the big band era had passed. Now 102 years old, Ray Anthony's legacy is that of a true musical innovator and entertainer. not just a symbol of the vibrancy and excitement of the Golden Age, but also a reminder of the enduring appeal of a bygone era in American music.
Crime in America, terrible time in America.
You forget I'm in America.
Number 13. Rita Moreno. By winning an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony at different points during her career, Rita Moreno has since earned her spot as an influential figure in the entertainment industry. Like most names on this list, she had an extraordinary career that spanned over 7 decades. By extraordinary, we mean she is one of the few performers who can boast of achieving the EGOT status. Born in December 1931, Rita Moreno's career kicked off at a time where there were limited opportunities for Latina actresses. Yes, she was typecast in stereotypical roles for a time, but her talent and determination eventually led her to significant breakthroughs in the industry. Her most iconic role came in 1961 when she played Anita in the film adaptation of West Side Story. Moreno's performance was a tour de force. It earned her the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. Interestingly, winning this award meant that she was the first Latina to win an Oscar. Her portrayal of Anita showcased her incredible range as an actress. It was this versatility that allowed her to break away from the limited roles offered to her. By 1975, she won a Tony Award for her role in the Broadway production of The Ritz. Moving on, she received 2 Emmy Awards for her work on The Muppet Show and The Rockford Files in 1977 and 1978 respectively. Before that, she received a Grammy Award for her contributions to the Electric Company album in 1972. Moreno's longevity in the entertainment industry is evident in the fact that she continued to work well into her 90s. She even recently reprised her role as Valentina in Steven Spielberg's 2021 remake of West Side Story, where she also served as an executive producer. Beyond her artistic achievements, Moreno has been a vocal advocate for civil rights and equality. While in the spotlight, she never missed an opportunity to speak out against the racial and gender inequalities she faced throughout her career. Not everyone uses their platform so selflessly. You could say that her activism and impressive body of work solidified her status as not just a cultural icon, but as a role model for future generations of performers. Even at the age of 92, Rita Moreno continues to inspire and captivate audiences everywhere. Hopefully, we get to see her gracefully embody the spirit of resilience and excellence that defines a true Golden Age legend for years to come.
Then one day I learned a word that saved me aching nose.
The biggest word you ever heard, and this is how it goes.
Number 12. Dick Van Dyke. Born on December 13, 1925, Dick Van Dyke would grow up to become a legend in the world of American entertainment. Back in the day, he was an actor, singer, director, and was even quite a comedian as well. Van Dyke's career spanned more than 7 decades. Now in his late 90s and still active in the industry, you will see that he is still widely recognized as one of the most beloved stars from the golden age of television and film. But let's take it back to the beginning. Van Dyke first gained national fame with the 1961 to 1966 television sitcom The Dick Van Dyke Show. In the sitcom, he played the role of a charming and comedic television writer named Rob Petrie. The show quickly became one of the most iconic sitcoms of the 1960s and is still regarded as a classic today. While the show won several Emmy Awards during its run, it was Van Dyke's timing, physical looks, and lovable personality that made him a household name. It wasn't just the Dick Van Dyke Show. In time, his film career took off as well. Starting with the beloved Disney musical Mary Poppins in 1964, he went on to star in popular films throughout the 1960s and 1970s. As you can imagine, his contributions to entertainment have earned him numerous accolades, from 5 Primetime Emmy Awards to a Tony Award, a Grammy Award, and the Screen Actors Guild Lifetime Achievement Award. Dick Van Dyke is a well-celebrated entertainer. To top it all, he is still very much active. In 2018, he reprised his role in Mary Poppins Returns and delivered a show-stopping dance number. He was 93 at the time. Still, his enduring vitality and passion were evident. On April 24th, he became the oldest person to score a Daytime Emmy nomination. Even at 98 years old, he was a guest star on Days of Our Lives earlier in the year. If anything, this is an indicator that the iconic Dick Van Dyke is far from retirement.
That's not what's most important.
What's most important?
We never met.
Number 11. William Shatner. Canadian actor, author, producer, and cultural icon William Shatner was born on March 22, 1931. Best known for his role as Captain James T. Kirk in the Star Trek franchise, Shatner has become one of the most recognizable faces in the world of science fiction and pop culture in general. Now in his 90s, Shatner is no doubt blessed to have a career that has spanned more than 7 decades. In the 70-plus years he has been active in the industry, he captivated audiences with his charisma, versatility, and dare we say, pioneering spirit? You could trace Shatner's rise to fame back to the late 1950s and early 1960s. As you know, this was the iconic golden age of television, so it was a period marked by high-quality dramas and live television productions. He appeared on various TV shows and live broadcasts during those years, but it was his role as Captain Kirk in the original Star Trek series that catapulted him to stardom. While the series may not have been an instant or major success, it, over time, developed a massive cult following. One could definitely argue that Shatner's portrayal of the bold and charismatic captain of the Starship Enterprise was the most iconic part of the series. Whatever the case may be, there is no denying that Shatner played a huge role in one of the most influential franchises in television history. Shatner's work extended far beyond Star Trek. He pursued a variety of interests beyond acting, including writing, directing, and producing. Fun fact, in 2021, Shatner made history by becoming the oldest person to travel to space, aboard a Blue Origin suborbital spacecraft. He was 90 years old, and you can agree that this milestone was fitting for a man who had spent much of his career exploring the final frontier in science fiction. William Shatner is now 93 years old and still going strong. Number 10. Sylvia Pinal. There is no denying that Pinal is one of the most legendary Mexican actresses and producers out there. Like many others on this list, she has had over 70 years in the industry. Now in her 90s, her mark in the entertainment industry, particularly her influence on Latin American culture, cannot be underestimated. Let's take it back to the 1940s, during the golden age of Mexican cinema. Pinal kicked off her career when the film industry was at its peak. By portraying roles in numerous classics that are still celebrated today, she was no doubt one of the leading actresses of her generation. One thing she did right, she worked with some of the most renowned directors and actors of her time. From comedies to dramas, she established herself as a leading lady in films across various genres. One of the most significant chapters of Pinal's career was her collaboration with the legendary Spanish filmmaker Luis Buñuel. This collaboration birthed 3 of the most acclaimed films of the era. First there was Viridiana in 1961, and then The Exterminating Angel in 1962, and Simon of the Desert in 1965. These films, particularly Viridiana, which won the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival, showcased Pinal's extraordinary talent and marked her as a key figure in international cinema. Beyond her work as an actress and producer, Pinal's impact on Mexican culture extends to being part of one of Mexico's most famous artistic families. Her children and grandchildren, including actress Sylvia Pasquel and singer Alejandra Guzman, also achieved a great level of success in the entertainment industry. If this doesn't point you to Pinal's legacy as a matriarch of an artistic dynasty, then we don't know what will. As you can imagine, it has only added another layer to her influence on Latin American culture. As long and illustrious as her career has been, Pinal has also been honored with numerous awards and accolades. From the Ariel Award, which is Mexico's equivalent of the Oscar, to a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Mexican Academy of Film. Her contributions to the arts have certainly been recognized. In September 2024, Pinal would be 93 years old.
Gigi? What are you doing there?
Gaston, do you make love all the time?
I beg your pardon?
Number 9. Leslie Caron. From her work in Hollywood musicals during the golden age of cinema to starring in some of the most iconic films of the era, Caron is a French-American actress and dancer whose career has spanned over 7 decades. At the age of 93, Caron is still known for her elegance, grace, and the kind of charm that is reminiscent of classic Hollywood. Talking about Caron's rise to stardom, one must begin when she was discovered by legendary actor and filmmaker Gene Kelly. At just 19 years old, she made her film debut opposite Kelly in the 1951 musical titled An American in Paris. Her portrayal of the young Parisian woman caught in a romantic triangle broadcasts her remarkable talent as both an actress and a dancer. The film won 6 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. She didn't stop there. Following the success of that film, Caron continued to shine in a series of high-profile musicals. By demonstrating her ability to convey emotion, each role was more moving than the last. However, her most celebrated role came in 1958 when she starred in Gigi. Yes, the iconic musical adaptation of Colette's novella. Directed by Vincente Minnelli and produced by the legendary Arthur Freed, the film was a critical and commercial success. It won 9 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, and it also gave Caron the platform to shine as a leading actress of her time. This doesn't even scratch the surface, but you get the idea. Even now, her timeless elegance has ensured that she is beloved by fans. Number 8. Angie Dickinson. This list would certainly not be complete without the legendary Angie Dickinson. Her career not only flourished during the golden age of Hollywood, it also extended well into the modern era. She might not have been an A-list star, but her striking beauty and charisma set her apart as an influential actress at the peak of her career. Now in her 90s, she remains a revered figure in the entertainment industry. Dickinson's rise to fame began in the 1950s when she transitioned from modeling to acting. Not everyone can manage that switch, but she did. She kicked things off nicely with her big break in Howard Hawks' classic western Rio Bravo. Fresh off the success of Rio Bravo, she became one of the most sought-after actresses in the industry. Leveraging this power, she went on to star in a series of successful films throughout the 1960s. This impressive list includes Ocean's 11, The Killers, and Point Blank. Her success wasn't relegated to films alone. Dickinson made a significant impact on television. A good mention would be her role as Sergeant Suzanne Pepper Anderson in the groundbreaking police drama Police Woman. From 1974 to 1978, this show was a major hit and actually earned her a Golden Globe Award for Best Actress in a Drama Series. Beyond her acting career, Dickinson's reputation was also tied to her personal style and glamour. She loved to grace magazine covers, and in time, she became a fashion icon of her era. At 92 years old, this beautiful starlet is still as graceful as ever.
Like this happen every day.
I'm gonna wash that man right out of my hair.
Number 7. Mitsy Gainer. Born Francesca Marlene Desani von Gerber, Mitsy Gainer is another Golden Age star who has earned a spot on this list. And how could she not? An actress, singer, and dancer, she became one of the most versatile and beloved entertainers of the Golden Age. She has a sparkling personality, exceptional dancing ability, and strong vocal ability that made her an ultimate triple threat. As such, her career spanned film, television, stage, and even cabaret. For Gainer, it all began in the late 1940s when she was signed by 20th Century Fox. She quickly became a top pick for the grandest musical films. Her early films like My Blue Heaven in 1950 and Take Care of My Little Girl in 1951 are a testament to how bright and promising her career looked in the early days. In time, she was sharing the spotlight with stars like Ethel Merman, Donald O'Connor, and Marilyn Monroe. With each role, she displayed her wide-ranging talents. Gainer's most iconic role came in 1958 when she starred as Ensign Nellie Forbush in the film adaptation of Rodgers and Hammerstein's South Pacific. By combining acting, singing, and dancing, the role was a perfect fit for Gainer. While the film is one of the most beloved musicals of all time, her performance in songs like I'm Gonna Wash That Man Right Out of My Hair and A Wonderful Guy are undoubtedly one of the most memorable. Thankfully, the film's success further cemented her status as one of the top musical stars of her generation. There were other films too. In Les Girls, she danced alongside Gene Kelly. We can't forget her live performances. With special reference to the ones held in Las Vegas, she dazzled audiences with her energy, glamour, and vivacious performances. Gainer is currently 93 years old and living a fabulous life away from the spotlight.
There's such snappable rings that to lose them would be a disgrace. But to show where my heart is, though I love my...
Number 6. Barbara Bane. Mission Impossible, Space 1999. These were arguably the most iconic television series of the 1960s and 1970s. Now, Barbara Bane was a star of both shows. The career of this gorgeous American actress has been carried by her elegance, intelligence, and the strong, complex characters she portrayed. We mean, it really is unsurprising that she is now celebrated for her pioneering role in the portrayal of women on screen. Bane began her career as a model and dancer before transitioning to acting. Taking the new path seriously, she studied under the legendary acting teacher Lee Strasberg at the Actors Studio in New York. Her early work in television included guest appearances on popular shows of the time. Nothing too big or flashy, so she was far from being a household name. It wasn't until her role as Cinnamon Carter in the groundbreaking series Mission Impossible that she achieved widespread recognition and acclaim. There is no denying how big Mission Impossible was, but it's the same way Bane's role in the film cannot be understated. As Cinnamon Carter, Bane was a key member of the Impossible Missions force, so it was only natural that her performance was crucial to the show's success. Aside the sophistication, intelligence, and charm she brought to the role, It also helped that the show came at a time when strong, capable female characters were still rare on screen. Thankfully, the show had the awards to show for it. For her work on Mission Impossible, Bane received 3 consecutive Primetime Emmy Awards for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama Series. This was for the year 1967, 68, and 69. Fun fact, this made her the first actress to win this award 3 years in a row. By also earning a Golden Globe nomination, she cemented her status as one of the leading actresses of her time. She kept up the good work and achieved even greater heights when she starred in the 1975 cult classic show Space 1999. Bane is currently 93 years old and still stands as graceful as ever. Number 5. Tippy Hedren. Born Natalie K. Hedren on January 19, 1930, Tippy Hedren was a lot of things. American actress, animal rights activist, and one-time fashion model, she was a major figure in Hollywood during the 1960s. While she is best known for her iconic roles in Alfred Hitchcock's films like The Birds in 1963 and Marnie in 1964, it was her striking beauty, poised performances, as well as her complex and often troubled relationship with Hitchcock that kept her top of mind back in the day. To begin with, Hedren's entry into the world of film was unusual and dramatic. Before becoming an actress, she was a successful fashion model. She was on the covers of major magazines and could also be spotted in television commercials. It was one of these commercials that caught the attention of Alfred Hitchcock. At the time, he was looking for a new leading lady considering Grace Kelly had just left Hollywood to become Princess of Monaco. Hitchcock signed Hedren to an exclusive contract and cast her in the lead role of Melanie Daniels in The Birds. This suspenseful thriller would become one of his most famous films, and it also solidified Hedren's place in Hollywood. However, Hedren's relationship with Hitchcock became increasingly strained. You see, there were reports of Hitchcock's obsessive and controlling behavior towards her. Sadly, this tension culminated in a break between the actress and the director, on such a magnitude that it actually stalled Hedren's Hollywood career. Hitchcock's control over her contract meant she was unable to take on other film roles. Despite these challenges, Hedren's career did not end with Hitchcock. She continued to work in film and television throughout the 1970s and beyond. It wasn't just acting. Hedren had also a burning passion for animals, particularly big cats. By 1983, she established the Shambhala Preserve in California, a sanctuary for exotic animals. Just like her acting career, her activism has earned her numerous awards and honors. As of 2024, Tippy Hedren is 94 years old. If you made it this far, do hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any updates from us.
Come in. Well, how do I look?
Funny.
I know what you're thinking.
Number 4. Clare Bloom. With a career that has spanned over 7 decades, Clare Bloom is an esteemed British actress known for her work in classical theater, film, and television. Her extraordinary range and ability to convey deep emotion with subtlety and grace made her one of the most respected and enduring actresses of her generation. Now, hers is a story of hard work and dedication. Bloom's career began at a young age when she was accepted into the prestigious Guildhall School of Music and Drama in London. Before long, she got her breakthrough as Ophelia in Paul Scofield's Hamlet. She brought such a fresh and emotional depth to the classical role that it instantly became one of her hallmarks. By 1952, she made her film debut in Charlie Chaplin's Limelight. She played the role of Terry, a young ballerina who forms a close bond with Chaplin's aging comedian. As you know, the film was a major success, and Bloom's delicate yet powerful performance opened her up to a whole new era of international recognition. There is no doubt that working with Chaplin, who is one of cinema's greatest icons, was a significant moment in her career. Throughout the 1950s and 60s, Bloom continued to work prolifically in both film and theater. She starred in a series of successful films alongside big stars like Laurence Olivier, Richard Burton, just to name a couple. So yes, she did find success in film, but for some reason, she remained deeply committed to the theater. She was particularly acclaimed for her work in Shakespearean productions. From being Juliet in Romeo and Juliet, Cordelia in King Lear, and Lady Anne in Richard III, her love for theater bolstered her mastery of Shakespearean language. By doing so, she became one of the leading classical actresses of her time. By the time television became a dominant medium, Bloom had adapted her talents just fine to the small screen. At the age of 93, Bloom stands out as an inspiration to younger actors and as a symbol of the enduring power of great acting.
Listen to me, you backwoods shit-ass you. You got about 2 seconds to get the sheriff out of here. I'm gonna kick the goddamn door in.
Number 3. Gene Hackman. Eugene Allen Hackman is an American actor and novelist. Up until the early 2000s, when he retired, his career in film spanned more than 4 decades. In that time, he was known for his versatility, intensity, and ability to bring authenticity to every role. With these factors in place, there was no way Hackman wasn't going to be one of the most respected and successful actors of his generation. His performances have earned him 2 Academy Awards and the reputation of being a towering figure in the history of American cinema. Interestingly, his journey to stardom was far from conventional. After serving in the U.S. Marine Corps, he just had this idea to step into the entertainment industry. He did struggle to find his footing and faced numerous rejections as well. However, his persistence paid off. By the late 1950s and early 1960s, he began to make a name for himself. A worthy mention would be his breakthrough role in 1967's Bonnie and Clyde. By getting his first Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor, you can see how this role as Buck Barrow marked the beginning of his rise to fame. Hackman continued to showcase his range throughout the 1970s and 1980s. From The French Connection in '71 to The Conversation in '74, Superman in '78, and Hoosiers in 1986, it is evident that he took on a variety of roles in different genres. Whether he was playing a hero, a villain, or something in between, his dedication to his craft and his refusal to be typecast allowed him to tackle a wide range of characters. In addition to his film work, Hackman also found success as a novelist, co-authoring several books with undersea archaeologist Daniel Lenihan. Hackman eventually retired from acting in 2004, with his final film being Welcome to Mooseport. Hackman is currently 94 years old and is enjoying the quiet life on a ranch with his second wife. Number 2. Maren Koch. Back in the day, this German beauty was not just an actress. She was also a television host whose career peaked during the 1950s and 1960s. Away from the spotlight, she was also a physician as well. She gained international fame as a leading lady in both European and American cinema. But where she truly shined was in the spaghetti western genre. Koch's career is marked by her versatility, elegance, and the significant impact she had on both German cinema and international film. Koch began acting in the early 1950s. She quickly established herself as one of Germany's most popular and talented actresses. And when she had conquered that scene, she set her sights on achieving similar success in international cinema. In addition to her work in westerns, Maren Koch appeared in a number of other successful films across various genres. She starred in thrillers like The Devil's Agent in 1962. You would also find her in war dramas like The Last Ride to Santa Cruz in 1964. Her versatility as an actress allowed her to transition between different types of roles, from serious dramas to lighthearted comedies, and she became one of the most sought-after actresses of her time in both German and international cinema. However, she decided to leave acting at the height of her career to pursue medicine, a move that we believe speaks to her character. She is currently 93 years old. Number 1. James Earl Jones. Yes, the iconic James Earl Jones. This list would certainly not be complete without him. Born on January 17, 1931, his career has spanned over 7 decades. The 93-year-old American actor is renowned for his deep, resonant voice and commanding presence. His work across film, television, and stage has left such an undeniable mark on American culture that he has been named a living legend. After conquering a severe stutter that plagued him as a child, Jones stumbled on his love for acting. He went on to study drama at the University of Michigan and later trained at the American Theater Wing in New York City. The perfect foundation for his illustrious career, wouldn't you say? Jones's breakthrough came on stage in the early 1960s. His work in theater earned him 2 Tony Awards, and he went on to achieve more success in films. His deep, authoritative voice became one of his most distinctive features, as it helped him land his most famous roles. This would include the voice of Darth Vader in the Star Wars franchise, the voice of Mufasa in Disney's The Lion King, as well as King Joffrey Joffer in 1988's classic film Coming to America. Over the years, his work in television has been recognized with multiple Emmy nominations and awards. He has also received numerous honors for his contributions to the entertainment industry, including the Kennedy Center Honors in 2002, the National Medal of Arts in 1992, and an Honorary Academy Award in 2011 to particularly recognize his lifetime of achievement. Recognize any of these iconic faces? Do share your thoughts in the comments. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button. You also can't miss the next video on the screen.